Hey, everybody, and welcome to the DBS Films Podcast. My name is Kellen, and since it's just me and you, it means it is a DBS production update. So every Saturday, we do a quick little update on where we are in the filmmaking process. That way, you guys get an up-to-date idea of what's next for us, what's coming up, and really just to give the community and our super fans an inside look at DBS and what basically took place last week. So to really kind of start it off, we're going to continue to hype up The Girl in Cabin 13. For those of you who are just joining us now, our newest film, The Girl in Cabin 13, is live on Tubi, and it's doing really, really well. It's tough for us to get an idea of exactly how well that's going to translate to, because we have to wait until it goes back to our distributor and what we kind of see when it comes to the monetary side of things. However, we have been on the front page pretty much constantly for the past 2 weeks. So that has to have some amazing effects. We're up there with some great, other movies like Stephen King's It, and it's just really amazing to see. So again, huge shout out to all of our super fans. They have been pushing this movie so hard. Like, honestly, I am just blown away by the amount of support that we're getting from our super fans Discord community. If you guys want to just be really more detail about what we do with DBS Films, if you want to ask me direct questions, you literally can just shoot me a direct message like at any time. And I'm typically on there to respond. So definitely check it out. We have the link for the Discord in the notes. But I'm just really blown away with what we're seeing with Girl in Cabin 13. I mean, you never really know what your movie's going to do when it comes to actually releasing it out there. A good example of this, if you've listened to the past podcast, my least favorite movie is The Haunting of the Suicide House that we've made. And it actually made us the most money. My favorite movie is The Devil in the Room, and it actually made us the least money. So you never really understand, what the audience are going to react. I think another big element to it is like you just don't understand how the algorithm's going to react to it. So, if you get pushed and you ride that algorithm wave, things end up being really, really good. If that's not the case, well, then you just kind of fall off very soon, and it's tough. And I think that's what makes, really filmmaking in general one of the harder things out there, because there's not a consistent product. You just really don't know until you know. And at that point in time, it's too late to change anything. So we try and set ourselves up for the best position. We know how to do a ton of marketing when it comes to just split testing, pushing out different types of ads and things like that, but you never really know. And the fact that this is the first time we're on Tubi, which is an AVOD platform, it means it's free to watch. You just got to watch some ads. I think that's really where we belong. So the fact that we're seeing a lot of success in Tubi right now with the AVOD platform, it's really, really motivating us. We're already joking, like we're going to release The Haunting of the Murder House and it's going to flop, just to kind of temper our expectations. Because, after working at this since 2017 and pumping out, 9 movies, it's really tough and you just never really know. So really excited about that. If you guys haven't seen The Girl in Cabin 13 yet, please go ahead, check it out. It is by far the best movie that we've made, in my opinion. Same with my brothers as well, just because you end up learning a lot more each time. And it's really something amazing seeing all of the people, whether it's on Instagram, TikTok, on our Discord, all of the positive feedback. Again, I'm going to take a little time to shout out our super fans. For the longest time, the only feedback we really got was negative. And I totally understand why, because they're low budget movies. People don't typically understand that. They compare you to a Hollywood movie with millions of dollars. And unless you really kind of understand that factor, you're basically going to go into it being like, what was this? This was awful. So for the longest time, all of our movies would just get like 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, review. Here's this, here's this. And not that it, made us upset in the sense that we'd read them and get all sad, because we just completely understand where it's coming from and its taste. But what's amazing now is, we're posting stuff on TikTok. We're like, hey, our movie's out. Go check it out. We get comments, watched it, loved it, watched it, loved it. You guys are amazing. This is great. We love this. And like, guys, that just means the world to creative. I think it can be really, really tough, especially in filmmaking, because it is a compromise. It's never like you finished your ideal product and you're like, this is exactly how I thought film would be. I thought my movie would be exactly frame for frame like this. It's always a compromise. So it's always hard to put yourself out there in that sense. And I think a lot of other filmmakers struggle with it. One of the benefits that we have is we just kind of put our head down and power through. We just say, hey, next movie, hey, next movie. And if you continue to do that, you start to understand that it really doesn't matter too much as long as you're improving. And that's the biggest thing in life. I think don't worry about what people say when it comes to the reviews or what they think of your product. Continue to improve. And if you do that at some point in time, things will work. And, I'm not going to call it just yet. I'm knocking on wood right now, but with what we're seeing with Tubi, if this continues to go, it could be the big year for us. So again, thank you so much for all the super fans. I've been a little bit mushy on our Discord. I've been like, you guys are the best. Thank you so much. This is it. But I really mean it, because I think, a lot of the different things that have came into place over the past few months are really, really huge for us. Having this community, we have 333 members, we have 57 super fans. So we are looking for that first 100 super fans. They will always be in our heart, because guys, this is when we need the support now. So if you're listening to this a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 10 years down the road, I can only imagine what our community has become. And I will always pledge my full support to all of our super fans, especially the fans now, just because this is when we need it. I mean, it's just the pure facts of it. This is when we need the support. This is when we need the army. And it is noticed by myself, it's noticed by my brother, and it really helps us out a ton. So without getting a little bit more mushy, Girl in Cabin 13 is going very smooth. The Haunting of the Murder House, we are reviewing the final few cuts of it. I would say we probably got a week, 2 weeks tops before we're ready to roll this bad boy out. Get feedback. Again, if you're a super fan, you will be able to watch it for free with us before it goes out to everyone else. We're going to do like a movie Monday. It's going to be awesome. I'm super excited for it. I cannot wait to see how you guys like this movie, because to me, it is by far the best product we have ever made, which is why we're already trying to tamper our expectations and basically say, hey, this movie's going to flop. It's not going to be good. So that's kind of where we're at in the sense of just tampering that expectations. But by all means, it just moves. It's such a good plot. It moves really quickly. It solidifies a lot of the gaps, I think, in Girl in Cabin 13, which the main gap to me was just kind of being really light when it comes to the actual plot. Whereas this one has a plot, it solidifies it, it has movement. Having me in the van kind of pushes the pacing really, really well. And it just flies. I mean, I watched the movie and it's like 45 minutes in, I'm like, man, it felt like 10 minutes. And that to me is one of the best things that can happen for a indie production. So Haunting the Murder House, it's looking really, really good. We're probably going to have the last finishing few touches here. We're looking at having another edit done this weekend. So that's basically what our weekend's going to be looking like. A little bit of fun editing, always good on the weekend. And then from there, we're just going to get the feedback on it, make the changes to the feedback, and keep on going through. Again, if you are listening to this, you will not see this movie until probably August or later, just because what's going to happen next is it will go to our agent. Our agent's going to pitch it to the distributors. We're going to fight pretty heavy, man. I mean, we got one that's trending pretty heavy on Tubi right now. So I think we're going to really try and, get the most out of our money's worth when it comes to the distributor angle. So that might take some negotiations back and forth, legal, all that fun stuff, which basically means by the time the distributor gets it in their hands, it's probably going to be late July-ish. And then from there, they're going to add 3 months on their launch because they got to get everything ready. So don't expect this bad boy to come out anytime soon. If you're not a super fan, if you're a super fan, it is right around the corner for you to watch. And I'm so excited to get your feedback because again, it helps us out tremendously. So with that being said, the next big item is we have locked in our shooting dates for the next feature film, which we are lovingly calling The Shapeshitter. Again, because we do testing on our titles, when we know that the final name is not going to be the name, we usually have some fun with the working titles. So we're getting everything together with that. We're bringing back Dylan from the Haunting of the Murder House. We're bringing back Kai from the Haunting of the Murder House. And we're bringing back Chloe from the Girl in Cabin 13. So it really is a DBS alumni heavy film. If you guys have been following us, we did look at a ton of casting, but the biggest thing that we are worried about with this movie is that we will need to do another reshoot because we are biting off a lot. And because of everyone being, essentially local or easy to work with when it comes to just getting them together, we've basically pulled back our expectations on that. However, we do have Aries or Howard. I hope you don't mind. I'll just say your first name, Howard, but Aries on the Discord. He is going to be officially the first super fan to go ahead and star as a role in our movie. And he is going to kill it. I know he's going to be listening to this right now. So Aries, hope you're having a good day so far, man. But you're going to do great. Don't worry about it whatsoever. You're going to do a fantastic job. We know you are. You're already enthusiastic about it. And I can't wait to have you on there. So I'm really excited for that. That's going to be a fun time. But again, we're going to hop into production on that next month. So really, it's going to be ironing out the script a little bit, but where it's at, I feel super comfortable. On the community side of things, our Minecraft server is growing by the day, which is really cool to see. We got giant towers, we got a roller coaster, we got Carl's Cave. And the only reason I'm really mentioning this is because, we want to be a place where you guys can hang out, make friends with everyone, and just do a whole bunch of, really cool community building, whether that's with us or whether that's on your own with friends that you make there. This is really what we want to do. And I think something that makes me really happy seeing now is, we have pretty much a pretty packed Minecraft group of people just hanging out, having a good time, chatting along. And that's exactly what we want to do. So again, if you're listening to this, you think that's kind of cool, go ahead, hang out. You don't want to play Minecraft, you don't have to. It's none of that stuff there. I just want to give a lot of options for all of our super fans and all of our community to hang out. It's fun to talk horror movies while you're just kind of chilling, having a good time. And it really does feel like such a solid community right now. Everyone's so kind, everyone's so nice. And like nowadays, it's kind of rare getting that stuff. So I'm really, really impressed with, just how awesome everyone is. And again, we're at 57. I think last week we were at 44. So there's 333 people, and a ton of them are already making their way up the ranks. Now is definitely going to be the time to look at doing it. And as we did last time, we're going to do this again, where I read 3 questions. We got 3 questions from 3 different super fans. So Aneely is one of our newest members, and she is killing it. I mean, she's watching all of our movies. She's streaming Girl in Cabin 13 a bunch. It is great. She's super active. So we're really happy to have her on board. She asked, what movie was your favorite to film? The answer with that is going to be The Haunting of the Murder House. And the reason for it is very, very practical. The better we get at making movies, the easier it gets. So what ends up happening is a terrible film set is when you're rushed, you're running out of time, you're worried, all of these things. Now, did we stay up all night again for The Haunting the Murder House? Yep. But it wasn't really rushed. It was kind of understanding we have these clips, we're getting these things, we're good. We weren't really super behind, and it was an easy and fun set to be on. So I would definitely say The Haunting of the Murder House was the favorite, but I think every movie we film, I'm not going to be surprised if The Shapeshifter is going to be our next favorite. With that being said, though, it might not be the next favorite because it is us biting off a little bit more than we could chew. So in the sense of, I don't think it's biting off more than we could chew, but it's running the risk of that potentially. I think we have the skill now to handle it, but just based on all of our other movies, we're very pessimistic at times. So hopefully it's just us being overprotective in that sense. But that was the favorite movie to work on. My least favorite movie to work on was The Invited, just because that was like a train wreck on fire. I would say the only thing that was my favorite part about that was like it was still new and fresh to me. It was like my first like big set that we were on and everything. So I was in the moment kind of like wow, but that wow quickly turned into oh my gosh, what are we doing? So that's kind of the mindset there. Next question is from Evan L. And Evan is a true OG. He's been on here since before the Discord. He's really, really a trooper. Really glad that he found us because he's a cool guy. He's got his own SoundCloud too. So like you can take a look at his music. But he asked, what is the best part of making movies? And this is a question we get a ton. And I would really say my favorite part of doing, movies is seeing it go from an idea in your head all the way to a finished product. That really is going to be the best part of this because it's such a cool and unique experience. You literally willed something into existence in the sense that, it was just an idea in your head. It was just a thought. You end up getting more clarity when it comes to what they're actually going to look like because you cast actors. So now that character that you had in your head is now that actor. And then on top of that, you have a final product and basically whatever your thoughts were in the beginning are now finalized. And that is just such a cool experience to see, really, in my opinion, not a lot of people are able to be creative, just because of the way society's set up. It's usually something only people who don't have to worry about work can put their efforts into. Not to say that there aren't people out there hustling and grinding, but I mean, really, like, take a look at anyone in Hollywood, take a look at any like fashion designer, take a look at their family. You'll kind of see a trend, because it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, and it's not really rewarding until you get to the top part. I mean, we're still not doing this at a full-time level. We're still just working. We're still just out here grinding and hustling. So being able to actually see that come true, I think, is something that's really, really amazing. And I think it's always going to be my favorite part of filmmaking, honestly. And then the last question is from Gam. Gam also is an amazing super fan. She's just super lovely. We love having her on the Discord. She's usually part of the welcome committee. Anytime we get someone new, she's always out there. But she asked, is there anything I should know about being an actor in the sense of like skills or tips and whatnot? And I would say one thing that I find is a quick little bump up in skill level when it comes to acting and just what we look for, having an understanding of your body movements with your dialogue. And it was something that I actually feel like going into the newest one, because I play a pretty bigger role in the haunting of the murder house. I feel like it's something where I didn't really pay too much attention of it when I first started and when I was first doing it, but now I really do because I've been doing the editing. And what I mean by that is if you have your hand up in a movement for a certain scene, make sure every time you say that word, your hand movement is the same. Because sometimes what will happen is, you'll be like, hey, you over there. And if you say, hey, and you point on one take and you say you over there, and on the there you point, as an editor now, I can't cut around that because your hand is down. So if your hand's down in one scene and your hand's up in the other scene, I can't use that. And I would say more than anything, that's really what prevents me with actors being able to get a good cut of themselves, because they kind of shoot themselves in the foot by only making it like, well, I guess I have to use this cut. As an actor, you want to give the editor as many good takes as they can use, because I'm going to try and help you as much as I humanly possibly can. I'm going to look for what I think your best takes are. Every single time you do a take, it's usually, unless it's not like a line that's like really basic, if you got like a big scene, it's going to be slightly different. And it's natural. It happens in your head. So I would say focusing on your body and always making sure your movements are the same. It's something that's little. You're usually thinking so much about the lines. You're like, what's the line? What's the line? What's the line? What's the line? Okay, cool. And you're not necessarily thinking about what's my body doing. So I think for all the actors listening out there, if you guys can go ahead and just kind of keep that in mind, you'll really make it a breeze for the editor. And if you do that, you're going to set yourself up for a much better take and a much better final scene. So that's going to go ahead and wrap up this week's updates. Again, guys, join us, follow us. We're growing. I mean, growing Cabin 13 could really do a lot for us this year. And if not, we're going to keep on making them. So check out our links, check out our Discord, do all of those fun things. But until then, have a good one.